Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda, the Minish camp. In the last part we got here to the Palace of Winds, and now we're going to continue on through it. Though, like I mentioned last time, with the Temple of Droplets and this dungeon, this is going to be a multi-parter, at least 2 to 3. And we got what is technically the introduction of the red and blue switches, which are pretty much a 2D Zelda staple nowadays. If there's a 2D Zelda game coming out, you can be assured these are going to be in there at some point. Also, gotta say, I love the music here. It's not as good as Cloud Tops. In fact, I wish the song in here was Cloud Tops. But it's still a goddamn epic track. Really shows you that we are getting towards the end. And stupid pea-hats. Oh gee, I wonder if there's anything underneath these skulls. Actually, the skulls and pots of the game, I haven't mentioned this yet, but you can actually use the Cane of Pocky on them to flip them over. And it's the same thing with the little shield beetles we met much earlier in the game in the second dungeon, actually. Those guys that you need your shield to knock over. Also, I'm going to mention this right now. For some reason, I don't know when it started, so I'm going to be paying attention throughout this exact recording, actually. I'm going to see if we can find out when a certain audio desync problem happens, because I know for a fact it's there later in the video. Anyway, these enemies here, I believe, are called Bomb Barosas. Don't hit them, because they hurt. And they obviously explode because of, you know, bomb. But then again, there are just some days you can't get rid of a bomb. And, speaking of bombs, Bob-Bombs. Or, actually, from what I remember, they aren't actually called Bob-Bombs, but that's what I've always called them. Because that's what they are, really. Ooh, clouds. There's a fluffy cloud floating here. It looks awfully comfortable. Thanks for that useless input there, Elmo. Did I just say Elmo on accident? Whoops. Guess you can tell who I've been watching. If you know who that is, that is. It sounds like a redundant sentence, but it's not. Then again, English is just a really broken language, because if a sentence that is the once the sentence the courage he had no effect makes sense, you know you're in a weird language. Then again, I think pretty much any language has that kind of problem, doesn't it? Anyway, this is kind of one of the only times this really happens in the game. Simon simulations aside, you got 3 waves of enemies to deal with, all normal Wizrobes. A spin attack and a normal strike will actually take them out very easily. But you just have to keep in mind how many you're facing off with, because now we're facing off against 6 of them at once. That's totally not annoying. Also, I just realized a bit of foreshadowing on the ground there. The little emblem might be foreshadowing a certain something. Ooh, big chest. You know that's good. And we get the final item of the game, the Rock's Cape. Jump with the greatest of ease. Hold the button to jump farther. The rock items are usually the only way you can jump in the Zelda series. They're only in the 2D ones from what I remember. And the Rock's Cape is actually a combination of both the Rock's Feather from Link's Awakening and the Oracle games, but it's also also has elements of the Rock's Cape from Oracle of Seasons? Or was it Ages? I forget which one. As it said, just pressing the button will make you do a one-panel hop, but holding it down will make you jump high and far. Why you'd ever just hold down for once, press the button to get the small jump unless you're required to for a puzzle? I'm not sure. That was cheap, game. That was a double hit. Oh, this room. I hated this from my first playthrough. What you have to do here is use all the bottom 3 split panels, I suppose, and then just sword slash here. But that took me like an hour to figure out when I was a kid for some reason. I was a very weirdly intelligent and at the same time absolutely idiotic kid. I mean, I figured out Grumble Grumble when I was a kid, but not that. There's a strong gale blowing here. Try not to get swept away. No. And hold on to your hat. Okay, I like that line. But yeah, the wind is rather powerful and will blow you up almost immediately. Also, I just realized, this is like one of the few times we've actually used the shield since the beginning of the game. And the cane, you can also use the cane of Pocky on those guys, as I mentioned earlier, so I don't even have to use the, didn't even have to use the shield. In fact, I rarely even have the shield equipped, don't I? Huh. Then again, I'm gonna have to check if I can get that certain item before I beat the game, because I might have to actually make a bonus episode for this Let's Play, depending on how things go. That panel. I think if we stomped on it hard enough, it might flip over. Well, considering the fact I did that earlier to get a Kinstone piece, probably. And that red rupee totally isn't a like because it stands out from the rest. And by the way, I do like this because this is actually a rather little subtle Mario reference, because Mario World had those exact grates. Mind you, the spriting was different, but it's the same basic principle. And actually, from what I remember, there aren't that many stairways in this actual dungeon. There's usually just little cloud ladders like that. Be incredibly quick here, and be on the right of this platform, because otherwise you're probably going to lose your clones. And don't try to attack the skulls, they don't break. Because you have to push this block, and yeah, wow, I just barely made that. Oh, great, crows. I don't know what's worse, crows or bats, and that clipped through the platform. Actually, what is better, crows or worse, crows or bats? I actually can't decide, because I'm a Castlevania gamer. And we all know how annoying the bats and crows get in that game, especially the crows. No, actually no, crows, just because of the way they were in Symphony of the Night. Especially the blue crows, they hurt for some reason. You know, it's kind of odd, actually. Certain sections aside, this is actually probably one of the most linear dungeons in the game. Mind you, it makes up for it for being quite a trek. I think this is like a 6-floor long dungeon. I think it's been a while. And I won't know until I get the map, which I think is actually the last key item we get in here. Which is kind of ass backwards if you ask me. And we have to actually use those 3 specific panels to open up the switches. So you can use this little Minish transformer. And then you got a block pushing puzzle with pots here. This one took me a while my first time through because I wasn't as good at seeing pathways as I am now. Then again, I play Metroid a lot. And a lot of Tetris, so yeah, this should be no problem to me at all nowadays. Actually, no, wait, there is actually 1 or 2 normal staircases in this dungeon. I just remembered they're like the 1 or 2 only ones. Thank you, Mr. Spike Pillar, and yeah, there's one of them right there. But I love how that Spike Pillar propelled me into the doorway I needed to go in. Good guy, Spike Pillar. And for hitting that switch, we got a small key along with opening the door. You know, the design of the rocks cape in this game reminds me of something, but I'm not sure what. I'm thinking Final Fantasy or some other RPG that's not Zelda. Is it a Tales of game, or maybe Dragon Quest? I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably remember it at some point. You can just ignore those moblins, by the way. And I should mention, even though you're technically higher than the propellers here, like that, they can actually still push you when you're in mid-air, so be careful of that. Mega Man would be deathly afraid of this section. Oh, this is a clever little thing. You can actually use the wind to your advantage there. Had to think of the word. And hey, more Lakitus. Is it Lakitu or Lakitu? I've always said Lakitu because, I don't know, actually. That's where the audio desync happened. I missed a couple of frames. I'm gonna have to move, because if you may have noticed that, there was like a weird skip. I'm gonna have to fix that. And if we're going up there, we at least get a blue kinstone. It's really disorienting with the audio desync that I'm gonna have to fix afterwards. I'll give you a hint on how the audio desync is. By the time I land on the cloud above me, I'm already hearing the sound effect from me jumping and hitting the next one. Oh, great. Chainsaw night. Chainsaw? That'd be one badass night. Chain and Ball night. Those who have played A Link to the Past know how painful these guys can get. Especially in confined spaces like this. However, they always drop 50 rupees upon death, which is always kind of cool. The best strategy for them is jump over them with the Rocks Cape, then slice at their ass. Then again, the ass is just probably one of the best weak points for any enemy, isn't it? And you get a small key for doing that. And there's a chest here, but we can't get that quite yet. Though, admittedly, I do want that anti-fairy to be a fairy. It's always satisfying when I manage to pull up the spin attack roll. Anyway, this place can be kind of tricky if you're not paying attention. You actually have to push one of the pots onto that, preferably that one I just used, or one over on the right, and then hit the rest of the 3 switches yourself. Luckily, they're not the kind of switches that you need to have something on them constantly in order to push down. Well, technically they are, but once you activate them, the effect is now in order. Anyway, now we got a bit of an ambush that actually has the first appearance of Ice Wizrobes. If I recall correctly, they themselves don't hurt much, if at all. But they can freeze you into I don't know how that one just passed through me, but okay. To get out of it, you do have to mash the buttons a lot, so be careful of that. I do like their design, though. Oh, that audio desync is really distracting. Oh, God. And the thing is, in a couple seconds, you're gonna hear... I noticed the audio skip during editing, but you might hear a audio lag right now. That was me trying to correct it, but even then, it's still a bit off. But with that, we got the big key. But with that as well, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna try and fix that audio desync and editing. And next time on Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, we're gonna be continuing through the Palace of Winds and seeing what else we can do in here. See you guys then.